Hello everyone and welcome, or maybe welcome back, I don't know, to this video. My name's Andy, and in these videos, basically what I'm doing is I'm just talking about my experience of being transgender. In my previous video, I talked a bit about kind of my history, about where I'm coming from, about how I sort of came to be where I am right now. And if you're curious about that, feel free to go and check it out. If you're not curious about that at all and you'd rather just watch this particular thing, feel free, strap in. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. It's great that you find some value in these, I hope, at least anyway. I know that there are a lot of wonderful, brilliant, fantastic other trans vloggers and YouTubers out there. And one of the things that I wanted to do here is I'm really quite busy at work. I have no time to put in a lot of effort to do the research, to do the editing, to do all of the stuff that makes videos and content from other creators as brilliant as they are. So this is some low effort nonsense that I'm just vomiting out into the universe. And I'm doing this basically just because, first of all, maybe people will find this useful, maybe people will find it informative. But also, I've got a lot of stuff that's just bouncing around in my head, and I just want to get it out there. You know, like I just want to be heard by the universe. And even if it is just you, solitary viewer, watching this video, thank you very much for watching. It really is appreciated. And who knows, maybe it's not just one person, maybe it's three people, and you know, of the three of you, one of you's actually found it quite interesting. I don't know, whatever, we'll find out. Anyway, so as I say, the first video I was talking about my past and my history, and today what I wanted to talk about is what does transitioning mean for me. And it's kind of, I guess it's kind of follows on quite nicely from that video, because historically, obviously, there's a lot to unpack, and you know, it's not a long video. That other one, I could have talked about that for days, but this one, maybe it makes a bit more sense if you watch that one first and then come into this one. But you know, you can watch this cold as well if you want. So anyway, what does transitioning mean to me? And it's easy to say everything, because it kind of is everything. But okay, so how long have I been transitioning for? So I've been taking hormones for 105 days. So that's a little clue if you did watch the other video. I also referenced 105 days. Spoiler alert, it's basically, I recorded that 10 minutes ago and I just changed my top, so it looks like I'm doing it at a different time. So 105 days, but obviously this is just, you know, this is not 105 days of being transgender, of course not. And I think maybe there is a bit of a misconception that, you know, first of all, you need to do this, you need to transition, you need to take hormones to be trans. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was transgender from day one, as far as I'm concerned. I'm no more transgender today than I was 105 days ago, as I was 105 years. No, that's not right. 105 months, maybe, ago. Whatever. Some point in the past. And the only reason I can do this now is because I have found myself in a context where I have the circumstances which allow me to do that. Okay, I'm working in a job where the company is super supportive. I'm not fully out yet. I will be soon, but I have no doubts that it's going to be fine. Maybe it might affect, you know, career prospects in the future, but fuck it, whatever. I'll figure that out as we go. I have a wonderful support network in place. I have friends, I have a family who I know will support me. I have sufficient income to be able to pay for a private therapy. And if I didn't have that, then that would be very, very difficult. And also, and I think most importantly, psychologically, I'm absolutely in the right place for this. If you had told me 3 years ago, you're standing in front of the world and you're telling them that you're transgender and you're not like collapsing into some kind of neurotic fugue state or something, I would find that very difficult to believe. It's taken me a long time to get to the point where not only can I admit this to people, but also in a way where I don't feel dirty or guilty or shame about it. And how did I get to this point? It's difficult, I suppose. I guess I'm talking about the psychological part of this, by the way. I mean, the other stuff should be fairly self-evident, but psychologically, that's a real challenge because I'm quite independent. I find it quite difficult to rely on other people and reach out to other people to get support. So I've had to do most of this completely by myself. I mean, there's online spaces, there's places, resources that I've used, of course, but like most of it is just kind of internal, like processing. And I think first of all, I came to the realization that, first of all, transgender, those kind of preconceptions of what it means to be transgender doesn't necessarily apply to everybody, and especially the negative stuff absolutely doesn't apply to me and the vast majority of trans people, like 99%. There's always bad eggs, but that's true everywhere. So that helped. I mean, also, I'm a big fan of history, and the more I learn about the history of things like oppression and prejudice and scapegoating, the more you see things repeating, cycling, and right now, unfortunately, transgenderism, this is the bad guy du jour, right? But why are these arguments any more or less true of transgender people than they were of Jewish people in the 1800s, for example, or of women in the period where they were fighting for the vote, or for black people during the civil rights movement, or gay people in the 80s and 90s? It wasn't true then for them. So why is it true for us now? Have they finally landed? Okay, we were wrong about the Jews, we were wrong about black people, we were wrong about gay people, wrong about women. Trans though, yeah, this time we're right, believe. Bullshit, man, come on. I mean, I'm not surprised that people are falling for it because it's an easy answer to a difficult question. But once you start thinking about it and figuring that out, it becomes quite easy to shed a lot of that guilt. Yeah, I think I've got off a little bit off topic here. It's all about transition, so I suppose it's relevant. Anyway, so what does it mean to me, transitioning? So I suppose what transitioning means, it's the opportunity to start working towards becoming closer to the person that I feel I am. And I mean, I look at myself in the mirror. I'm aware. I'm tall. I'm like 6'3". I tower above basically everybody. I'm gonna stand out regardless. I'm in my 40s. There's certain things that have happened to my body through, age and testosterone. These things are irreversible. So I'm never going to achieve, I'm never going to be a petite, 13-year-old girl. That's not going to happen. I'm not sure if I necessarily want that to happen. I think that would be quite unsettling. It'd be interesting to experience for a day, but ultimately I'm not a girl, I'm a woman. I'm a middle-aged woman, damn it. And that's not bad. That's not a bad thing to be. That's fine. That's who I am. There's middle-aged women everywhere. I mean, you go out the door, there's a middle-aged woman. So, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine, that's good, that's who I am. But what I'd like is for the world to view me as that. I would like to look into the mirror and see that reflected to me. And so transitioning is going to allow that to happen eventually, perhaps. I mean, it's a long process. It's a continuous verb. It's not in the past form. It's an ing verb for sure. Yeah, so I'm really super excited. The moment that I made this decision, I couldn't sleep for months because I was so excited. Taking action, taking control of being transgender after just allowing it to sort of happen to me, or to just always have it kind of simmering under the surface and affecting my moods and affecting my interactions with other people. It was not great. It really sucked. It was horrible. I'm not going to say every day was a battle and a trauma because that's not true. It's more of a cycle, but it would always return. and I knew it would always return. Um, so that's the other thing as well. It's like the removal of that cycle. And again, my life isn't rainbows and sunshine. There are difficult things that I experience every day. Well, not every day, but there's things, there's day to day life. Life happens, life exists, life's a thing. So, like, transitioning isn't automatically suddenly going to mean that doesn't exist. Stuff is going to happen to make me sad and make me stressed. But the thing is, I feel so much more resilient these days. I feel like I can persevere. I can look at periods of stress, at things which are, I would see as being very difficult, very not impossible, but a challenge. But I feel like I'm psychologically better able at tackling those things. I'm much more confident in social interactions. I'm much more confident in like workplace meetings, whereas before I'd feel this kind of sense of, like I don't belong there. Like, who am I to intrude in this sacred space of senior leaders? And now I feel that I can actually contribute in a much more positive and meaningful way. I can air my views in a way that hopefully makes sense and is valuable. But I don't care about that so much. It's just I feel like I can contribute because it's me who's contributing now, right? That's really nice. So, yeah. What else does transitioning mean for me? I think one of the things that I like about transitioning is that it is a long period. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to a certain extent, maybe I'm kind of lying to myself about this. Maybe actually, if somebody was to turn around and say, you know what, if we snap our fingers and you suddenly wake up in the body of like, like whatever your dream woman, right? Would you not take that? And probably, yeah, of course. But that's a fantasy. That's not going to happen. The reality is transitioning takes ages, months, years probably. But that's good because those changes can be quite traumatic to an individual looking at them as they happen. I mean, actually, traumatic, no, it's fantastic. There's changes, the small changes. I after just a few weeks of hormones, I noticed that I smell differently. And it was amazing. I would just sit there and just like smell myself because I smelt like a woman. It was extraordinary. Like, that's so weird. Like, why would you want to smell yourself? But that's what I did because it felt great. It felt like I'm getting there. Things are happening bit by bit, right? So this transitional period helps me to sort of experience these things over time, get used to them, get used to like the way that my body will change, because I will have to. It's puberty, right? It's that can't happen overnight because suddenly you'll wake up and it's like I don't even know how to exist in this body anymore. But also, I think it's an essential thing for the people around me. You know, one thing that's kind of like motivating me to come out to a lot of people now is so that they can get used to this idea of this is who I am and see me as I go through these changes. So it for them is a gradual process as well. It's not just a kind of like they go to sleep and then they wake up and then suddenly it's me, your daughter or your sister or your female colleague or whatever. It gives them some chance to kind of get to grips with this because of course as I've come out to like my family, to my friends, it takes time for them to get to grips with it, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. As I said in my other video, it's taken me 40 years to kind of understand that I'm trans in the first instance, and as I said in this video, another 8 years after that to get to the point where I can say with pride, this is who I am. How can I expect somebody who's known me for that same period of time to swallow that, to accept it, to digest it, to embrace it in a matter of a 30 or 45 minute conversation? That's not going to happen. It's not fair. It's not reasonable to expect that. what isn't unreasonable is to accept, is to expect that conversation to be, positive and, loving and all of those things. And so far, so good. I've been very lucky there. But at the same time, I think everybody's needed some time to process things, and that's fine. That's fine. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I've completely sort of answered the question as fully as I could. What does it mean? It means everything, but at the same time, it's like the start of another phase of my life. There's more to come, and that's so exciting. It's being able to look ahead of my life rather than to look back with regret and sorrow, because look at all these opportunities you had to do something, to come out, to, I would spend, I think, maybe years going to sleep thinking, oh God, university, like you could have done so much more then. You could have explored yourself. I was in Manchester, I could have gone out to, I would go clubbing to the gay district in Manchester, and it never occurred to me that, oh, maybe I can explore this side of myself. Never. And, it's easy to look back and look at that as like a missed opportunity, like, oh, full of regret. But doing this means that I don't do that anymore. I don't regret things that I didn't do. I don't regret things that I did do. Yes. I don't need to do that anymore, because I've got a whole life ahead of me now as me, and that's amazing. It's like starting this process has given me a new life, and a life that I will actually appreciate and enjoy rather than just deal with. And that's pretty good. Alright, okay, so I'm going to stop there because otherwise I'm just rambling. Thank you so much for watching and putting up with this for however long this video is. I don't know, probably half an hour, I don't know. Yeah, this is the second video that I've made, and I'm hoping to make more. I really enjoy this recording process. I enjoy getting stuff out there, and these videos are for everybody. If you have anything that you'd like to say, write some comments below. If you disagree with what I said, yeah, I disagreed that you experienced these things. That's weird, but I mean, whatever. We can have that conversation. Yeah, and hopefully, if you have not hated this too much, you can watch the rest of the videos that I intend to make, and I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you very much for watching, and take care. I'll see you again. Bye bye.